Dave the Butcher Clifford here for WXC. And again, we continue to prepare for Friday, October 21st, 2016 in Ypsilanti, Michigan at the Eastern Michigan University Convocation Center for WXC 65. And we're with one of our professional fighters, moving to the lightweight division. Kelly True, we're trying to get his first professional victory that night in Ypsilanti, representing the True Fighter fight team out of Flint, Michigan. Now, before we talk about anything else, before we talk about your opponent, this fight is the culmination of 2 years worth of hard work that, if anything can ever be called a comeback, it would be this. On February 13th, 2014, Jason Milloway, yourself, and Gary Edwards were attacked outside of a nightclub in Flint, Michigan. Tell us about what happened that night and what went through your mind as you and your friends were almost murdered in your hometown in a place where you were comfortable all the time. And then tell me about what it took for the three of you now to have all fought after you step into the cage October 21st.
Yeah, thanks for having me, by the way. Gary Edwards, it was his birthday, and took him out for some drinks, and we went to a strip club, you know, like you always take your friends for their birthday. Mm-hmm. And we're in there throughout the night, never said nothing to anyone. Guys was watching us all night long. Evidently the stripper's baby daddy and boyfriend was sitting behind us and wasn't enjoying what was going on. And they're not supposed to be in there, supposedly, but they were in there anyway. And we get ready to leave, we get out to the vehicle, it's winter. You know, I'm scraping my windows. They're standing outside the car. A van pulls up. The guy's got his head out the window, and he says, "I heard you like to fight," to Jason Milloway. You know, we all had True Fighter shirts on. You know, we kind of laughed and giggled. I thought they knew one another, actually. I kind of laughed, you know. Jason said, "Yeah, we like to fight." Dude gets out of the van. Like I said, I thought they were friends, so I didn't think nothing of it. Scraping my windows. I still didn't think anything of it until Jason yells out, "Well, just shoot me or get in the car, because it's cold." And as soon as he said that, I'm like, "Shoot you?" And I look across the car, and dude starts throwing punches at him. He starts throwing punches back. By the time I get around the car, they're already on the ground fighting. And I look over to the right, and Gary Edwards is already on the ground with a guy standing over him. Looks like he's punching him. I didn't know that he had a fillet knife that was as long as my forearm, stabbing him. So I run up behind the guy. I hit him a couple times from the back, and he turns around and stabs me in the chest. And I pulled away from the knife, and I ended up falling on the ground. And I'm laying on the ground, holding my chest with blood all over my hand, and I look up, and he's standing over me. And I looked up, and I seen the big knife. I said, "Dang, he's got a knife." And he's like, "You're fucking right, I do." And he tried to cut me in the face. I put my hand up to block it. He about severed two of my fingers. Goes down my arm, fillets my arm, cuts every muscle, every tendon in my arm to the bone. My tricep muscle was like a water hose, just spewing out blood everywhere. And I started scooting away from him, and he stabbed me in the other shoulder. And he looks over and he sees Milloway on top of his friend beating him up, and he starts going after him. So I yelled out, I was like, "Jason, look out, he's got a knife." And luckily I did, because he had his back to him. He turned just in time, and dude stabbed him in the neck and stabbed him up under the rib cage. And then they jump in their vehicle, and then they proceed to try to drive off. I didn't really know how bad I was cut, because when you get stabbed, you don't feel it at all. I didn't feel anything. I just felt wetness. And everybody's freaking out about my arm. I ended up going to the hospital. For a week I was in there. Had to get surgery on my arm. They told me I'd never use my hand or move my arm again. I'd never fight again, for sure, is what they told me. The doctors did. And I refused to be a cripple. So I started immediately, you know, as soon as I started getting a finger moving, I noticed then that they were wrong, because they told me I never moved my fingers or my arm or nothing. So I just went from that to working out every day, going from 2-pound dumbbells, the little baby dumbbells, you know, to 5-pounders, to 10-pounders, all the way up to the bar, where benching with the bar, to where now I work out with 185, you know, and do 7 to 10 reps with it. Went back to boxing, kickboxing, got most of my strength back, and I'm ready to fight. You know, I feel like I was spared for a reason. You know, God spared my life for a reason. There's no other explanation other than He has plans for me. And, you know, I train fighters. I help a lot of fighters, but I feel like now it's my time that I need to start doing something. So I'm going back to the 155 division in the weight class that I've never lost in when I was at, you know, 100%. So I'm ready to fight for this one.
And now, you know, an amazing story, and especially when you take into account that Gary Edwards, who was named, is fighting on this card October 21st in Ypsilanti.
Yes.
Jason Milloway has fought 2 times, and now you step in as a professional, again, looking for that first victory. And now, you just mentioned moving to the lightweight division, and you already told us that it makes you feel stronger. Does it help in preparation as well, that you don't have to think so hard about cutting weight and that you can stay stronger?
Oh, absolutely. Most of my cuts I usually walk around like 165, 167, and I was cutting to 45 and 135. That's a lot of weight for when you get my age. I'm 45, and I was like 40 years old at the time when I started doing it. And it affects the body a little different, evidently, because I'd feel really weak, couldn't lift any weights, had to stop lifting, you know, and so when fight day come around, you know, I'm not at 100%, where when I was fighting as an amateur, I didn't have to cut any weight, and I go in there and, you know, buzzsaw through people. So I'm hoping to get back to where I was at, where I don't get fatigued in fights, and I can perform at my best.
Well, and it's truly amazing, like I said, that you know, the culmination of the comeback for everyone who, you know, laid there not knowing whether you're going to live or die in the middle of a terror attack, are able to now continue doing what you love. And there's a lot to be said for that. Now, I wouldn't want to be standing across the cage from you in this particular fight. Representing EMU MMA in his backyard, it's going to be Pilarski making his professional debut. We already know that he's a pretty strong grappler. How much time have you been able to research his amateur career, and what are you preparing for inside the cage?
Well, I've watched 3 of his fights, and he's had 4 amateur fights, and he's won all of them. So I've watched, and he's fought 2 of my guys. So we pretty much know what he's gonna do, you know. He's gonna try to take me down and gonna try to wrestle me and gonna try to lay on me a little bit. And he don't know that I wrestled too. You know, I wrestled in high school, but it was 1988, where a lot of people don't know about that.
Right. Good luck finding tape on that.
Yeah,
right?
good luck at finding some tape on that.
For certain. And now, again, this is going to be October 21st on a Friday night. What kind of a message would you give to any of the fans that are considering buying tickets, or anybody that has already bought tickets? Why should they pay specific attention to your fight?
Because I feel like it's going to be in a special event that night, because people are going to be surprised. A lot of people doubt me right now, which I don't blame them. You know, I'm 45 years old, haven't won a fight yet, and I'm fighting an undefeated fighter that's supposed to be in his prime right now. But they don't know the fight that I have inside me. You know, they don't know me personally, or they would know that I'm going to win this fight. You know, this is going to be a lot of fireworks. It's a striker versus a grappler. He's going to try to take me down. And what's going to happen once his takedowns get stuffed? That's the big question. How's he going to react, and what's he going to do? That's the question.
Well, and then we'll carry that right along. And what kind of a message would you like to send to your opponent now, before those cage doors get locked on October 21st?
Well, I heard that he picked me off the list of fighters on the card, so I think he picked the wrong one. That's what I think.
Dave the Butcher Clifford here for WXC as we get ready for October 21st, 2016. And that Friday night in Ypsilanti, Michigan, we'll be at EMU's Convocation Center for WXC 65. I'm here with a lightweight making his pro debut, representing EMU MMA, Ypsilanti's own Kyle Pilarski. Welcome to WXC. I see that you've never lost a mixed martial arts contest. You jumped to the pros as an undefeated amateur. And you've taken the time to cut 2 weight classes since last September. Tell us how you feel in preparation for your upcoming professional debut.
Well, preparation's been great. I mean, my camp is amazing. Got a nice head start on the weight cut. My cardio is better than it's ever been. When I was fighting at 185 pounds, I had a little bit of extra weight on me, so now that I'm lighter, I can move so much quicker. I feel so much stronger, faster. My cardio is amazing. So I'm going to be ready for this fight, definitely.
And now, do you think the age of your opponent will affect anything? You know, when somebody's got life experience like that, making a comeback after a tragic incident that happened to him, which where he, almost lost his life, let alone the use of his arm. Does any of that stuff factor into your preparation mentally? I mean, do you try to harden yourself against anything that might happen so that nothing else can come into play and maybe cloud your ability to execute?
No, that doesn't affect my preparation at all. I'm going to prepare for him like any other opponent. I don't know how much his age will be a factor. I don't know what type of shape he's in, cardio-wise, but I'll be ready to go for 3 5-minute rounds. I'll be ready to push the pace, try to bully him around a little bit. I'll probably be the bigger guy. As you said, I'm coming down from 185, and he usually fights at 145, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, interesting that he's coming up a weight class and you're coming down too. You guys are meeting in quite a war in Ypsilanti there. Now, as you prepare for this contest, with it being in your hometown, is it a different sort of field? Is it a little more exciting? You're getting a lot of people interested in showing up?
Yeah, definitely. I had actually pretty much written off MMA, but I had to jump on the opportunity to get on this card at EMU. It's going to be a great experience. I've lived in Ypsilanti for maybe 4 years now. Went to school at EMU, helped build up the EMU team, and I just had to get on this card. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it's always great to be able to fight in your hometown. And now for all the fans who will be attending on October 21st in Ypsilanti, what kind of a message would you like to send to them if to draw attention to your particular contest?
Well, this will probably be the last time you get to see me in the cage, so I'm going out there. I'm going to try my best, put on a show. Going to do what I always do, come out with a win, so you don't want to miss it.
And finally, a message for your opponent.
I hope he's ready for everything. He apparently thinks I'm one-dimensional, and he might be right. I might just run at him with my hands down. We'll see, but training with a great camp, so he should be ready for anything.